I spent too long writing several versions of this, what should I call it, class, lecture, very short mention of a grammar point, juggling act. And yes, it is true I write these. I know it's hard to believe that someone bothers to write a script and it still turns out like something I've just thought of while brushing my teeth and not for too long. The previous versions were hilarious and full of platypus jokes, of course, but there was something else about them that made me put them aside. I was trying to explain to you the imperfect in Portuguese, a verbal tense that has no equivalent in English, and was doing exactly the same things that many other informal online teachers of Portuguese do. Things which inspired me to start this channel because I thought they were useless. I was going on and on about continuous past actions and moments without a definitive endpoint, and all these things that would certainly give you headaches and scare you. This time I won't do that. Instead, I'll assume you want to communicate in Portuguese instead of constantly philosophizing about the continuity of your past actions, and just say this. You use the imperfect tense to indicate things that you used to do and that you were doing. You also use it in the narration of past events as they were happening. For example, when telling a story. Here are some examples compared to the past. Trabalhei numa mina. I worked in a mine. Trabalhava numa mina. I was working in a mine. I used to work in a mine. I worked in a mine. A Maria dançou no palácio do rei da Parvónia. Maria danced in the palace of the king of Parvónia. A Maria dançava no palácio do rei da Parvónia. Maria was dancing, used to dance, danced in the palace of the king of Parvónia. You already see it, don't you? They can both also be replaced by the simple past in English. You should blame English for that, with its overly simple verb tenses, and not Portuguese that has a verb tense for each occasion in life, and also several that shouldn't really exist but still do. This is where I should mention continuous actions. I should, but I won't, because I would, once again, lose myself in explaining something that is instinctive to me and probably extremely confusing to you. Instead, I'll repeat, you use the imperfect in Portuguese to refer to things that you used to do, that you were doing, and when telling past events in a sequence, like when you tell a story. It's not that I don't trust your ability to learn advanced concepts. Maybe I don't trust my ability to teach advanced concepts. Or maybe I really don't think this is essential and know that if you really want to study it in detail, you won't use a YouTube video as your main study material. Just bear in mind that it can be translated to English in several ways. And remember also that it is possibly the most common verb tense in written fiction. Moving on in a straight and possibly too sudden manner to conjugations, we'll start with regular verbs and leave irregular verbs for the next video. Remember the three endings of regular verbs? You have your verbs in ar, and ir. With verbs in ar, you remove the ending and replace it with the imperfect endings for each person. Cantar, to sing. Eu cantava, tu cantavas, ele, ela cantava, nós cantávamos, vós cantáveis, eles, elas cantavam. And another one. Trabalhar, to work. Eu trabalhava, tu trabalhavas, ele, ela trabalhava, nós trabalhávamos, vós trabalháveis, eles, elas trabalhavam. Verbs in and ir have the same endings, because not everything in Portuguese verbs has to be complicated. Comer, to eat. Eu comia, tu comias, ele, ela comia, nós comíamos, vós comíeis, eles, elas comiam. Abrir, to open. Eu abria, tu abrias, ele, ela abria, nós abríamos, vós abríeis, eles, elas abriam. And two more. Beber, to drink. Eu bebia, tu bebias, ele, ela bebia, nós bebíamos, vós bebíeis, eles, elas bebiam. Decidir, to decide. Eu decidia, tu decidias, ele, ela decidia, nós decidíamos, vós decidíeis, eles, elas decidiam. We should also mention the imperfect is also used in a way that has nothing to do with time to soften requests. If you use the verb querer, to want, to ask for coffee, for example, you would be speaking proper Portuguese if you said quero café, I want a coffee. But you would sound too demanding and a bit rude. To prevent this, you should say it with imperfect. This works the same way as using would in English to convey a request or desire. Queria café. I would like a coffee. If you stay in Portugal long enough, you'll eventually have someone try to be funny and take the verb tense literally to reply with queria café, já não quer. You wanted a coffee, you don't want it anymore. This is hilarious, but only inside the head of the person making this amazing and overused joke. If this happens to you, leave immediately and go get your coffee somewhere else. Finally, a message to people who found a podcast version of these videos and don't know there is a YouTube channel. The message is, there is a YouTube channel. You can also join us there if you want. Just search for Simpleton Portuguese. The videos are full of amazing visual effects. I hope you enjoy the color orange. That's all for now. Please subscribe and support me on patreon.com/simpletonportuguese, where you can find video transcripts, mindless ramblings, and even the occasional shenanigans.